Watz Da Scoopz podcast. Yeah. Think it's a tragedy. Now this is a thriller. You gon' tell me to a killer. Talking on that chat to me. Now you woke the gorilla. Now watch your little bone shiver. Think it's a tragedy. Now this is a thriller. You gon' tell me to a killer. Talking on that chat to me. Now you woke the gorilla. Now watch your little bone shiver. Shiver, yeah. Watz Da Scoopz podcast. Well, yeah, that's some original beats there. Give you a little sample coming up for you from Junior John Productions. Once again, your host here, Junior John, for the Watz Da Scoopz podcast. I got a very special guest, one of the podcast pioneers of our local community here in Hawaii. Give it up for my brother, Gaven Sugai. Aloha, Gaven.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey.
Pioneers, I don't know. I mean, there's other people, but...
I didn't watch theirs. I watched yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, man. Thank you for coming out here to beautiful Lower Makakilo. And all the way from the Fofo. Yeah,
Yes.
That's where I grew up, hometown. Kaneohe. How's it on that side today?
Rainy.
It was rainy.
No, actually, it's been sunny.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Alan, them, yeah, they were like saying how they were working on the roof. I'm like, what the heck? I couldn't see the whole island. Yeah, it's been all over. Bipolar weather, huh?
Yep.
But wow, yes, of course. Talk Story Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, this is the founder of it, and well, I'd like you to share some of the history since I'm just starting myself. And,
Yeah, of course.
You know how it all began. You know what got you involved with it.
Yeah, so I'll start off with the beginning. So for people that listen to my podcast, I've talked about this a lot in my earlier episodes, but back in 2017, July 2017, I was an audiovisual technician at Woodwood Community College, and I wanted to do an idea where I just interviewed people. I watched Joe Rogan's podcast, and I didn't really know what a podcast was. I just thought it was like an interview thing. You just talk story with people, right?
Yeah.
And what happened was I got hurt on the job in August of 2017. So I broke my leg in 3 different places. It was worse than Anderson Silva's injury. I gotta admit, I seen Anderson Silva's injury. I seen the kick. I seen it snap. Mine was much worse. And
sympathy pains, bro.
It was bad. I had emergency surgery. I thought it felt like a sprain. Just to put it in perspective, it felt like a sprain, but I couldn't feel my leg or part of my foot.
Did you lose feeling altogether?
I lost feeling up until my toes. So I remember, it was funny because I remember the Kill Bill Volume 2, and then Uma Thurman was like, if you can just wiggle your toes. That's the only thing I thought of. I was like, okay, if I can wiggle my toes, I think I'm okay. And I could wiggle my toes, right? And I had emergency surgery the next day. So I was in the hospital and everything. And when I got home, I was thinking, wow, I can't really do that video interview style that I wanted to do because I can't move. I'm kind of bedridden. And what happened was I started listening to podcasts because, I could just put in my headphones, and then I really understood what a podcast was, which was more of like this talk story kind of like conversation stuff. I'm like, wow, my friends and I do this all the time. Yeah. So I thought, why don't I transition to just doing a podcast? And that's exactly what my original idea was, but I'm just doing it more audio wise. Yeah. And then, of course, I converted to video and audio, but before it was just audio. And then I started it a year later because I wanted to get better. I wanted to fix up my leg, wanted to get stronger, did a lot of physical therapy, which is not as bad as people say it is. Everybody says, oh, physical therapy is the worst. It's not really that bad. It's actually pretty easy. For me, it was pretty easy.
The injury was the hard part.
The injury was bad, but
I couldn't imagine.
The physical therapy wasn't that bad, honestly. So in August 2018, I actually got my surgical rod removed. I still have the scars, and I still have weird sensation in my leg too. So So like right over here, like even if like you flick it, I feel the nerve just kind of pulsing. But you know, I'm better now. I can run, which is pretty great. I can do burpees, man. You know.
And did they give you any like worries to where you might not be able to?
No.
That sounded like a really bad injury, bro.
It was a really bad injury, but yeah, I mean, everybody was really positive about me getting through it, and so anyway, yeah, I got through it, and I'm still here, and I started my podcast back in October of 2018, so that was actually maybe a week before my birthday, and then my wife and I, we were in our pajamas, and we just decided, like, hey, why don't we just record? And our first topic was this guy who was doing some weird things at KCC, for people in the mainland, that's Kapiolani Community College, and that's he was, you know, I got like a UH notice, like, oh, UH alert, like, hey, watch out for this car, license plate. He's doing some weird things. Not gonna say what kind of weird things, but it was weird things in the parking lot, and that's what we talked about.
Wow,
that was the first episode.
That's what I like about this whole podcast stuff. Cause for me, like I've been, I don't know how long. I mean, I've been into Joe Rogan's podcast. That dude changed my life pretty much. Like just the way he was able to talk to everybody and anybody. Like, you know, and his transformation from when I first started seeing his podcast to like, you know, now, you know, it's just like, it's a more real platform. I kind of prefer this, like, rather than coming in where you normally with the media, okay, you're going to say this, tell this story, blah, blah, blah. And it's all orchestrated, but it's like, you don't really get to see the people. But like what Joe Rogan has been doing, you know, he brings these people in, like, fucking, I remember the fucking Alex Jones damn episode. Like, I was like, this guy's a nutso. And then you watch it and you're just like, what? This fuck is not that nut. Like, you know what I mean? But the media was in so much power that it's like, you know, we're getting told what to think. And then it's so biased on the outside that it's all fake news. You know what I mean? It's all, there's all an agenda, obviously. Like somebody's, and it's even more obvious now because all your CNN news, Fox News, all these stuff, these guys are like included with the whole politics and what they, you know, their agendas and but they're not getting high views. Joe Rogan's getting way more views than anybody. I don't know if O'Reilly still goes on, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the view level is taking over. And then, you know, what I say, you know, you're blessed to be, you know, is to have got on the bandwagon early. You know, I don't know. I mean, you probably know more podcasts out of Hawaii than I do, you know, and we were just talking about the Palafunga, you know, in my opinion, like, I don't think people should be getting fired, you know, considering you're an on-air personality. If it's your first time, but like over 11 years that they've been doing it, I don't think, you know what I mean? The way Paula took it, someone could take it a different way and laugh. I would laugh because I know I'm dealing with an on-air personality, but she was hurt, right? So, for my opinion, but that's the problem. It's how corporate is in charge of the media like that. And you're going to lose your job, right? In my opinion, them two should just fucking set up a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're probably in a better place if they do. Like, I mean, not saying I'm going to support or watch the podcast or anything like that, but I mean, to just like to cancel people or to do that to people and with no forgiveness, no, like, I change by the minute. You know what I mean? I always hope to change for the better, but sometimes we make bad choices, you know? And that's the thing about moments. They come and go, you know? So you can't go back, you know? Yeah. And it was definitely a joke. It was not a good joke. It didn't work. The crowd was Palafunga. That was it. That was the crowd. We're the observer that we're viewing it and it made it viral. But really, the only person that he had to make laugh was Paulo Funga, and he didn't see his crowd good enough. You know, like that was it. That was who they're in COVID, right? So they're doing the whole thing. So it's just those three guys on the panel and her, right? So if she reacts, and I know her, like I don't know her. I'm not gonna say I know her like that. No, sorry. We get top flight security above us right now.
I know. They heard Paul Fuga.
They're coming. Oh, right. They're hearing something.
No. Junior John. We got to get... What's the scoops, Junior John?
Yeah, that's how we know we're well protected over here.
Yeah.
Where you at, Kim Jong-un? Nah, I'm just kidding. No, but straight up, that's how I look at it. Like, you know, and they're doing it nowadays to comedians. Like, these guys are running for president. Like, these guys are doctors, or like they're comedians, right? The only way to find out is if it's a funny joke is if you go out and do it, and he's doing it on the run, right? But you know, I bring this up because you know this is an avenue. Like I've heard Joe Rogan say stuff in the beginning, and now he's totally has a different view, right? That's how we grow. You know what I mean? So we cannot just say, "Oh, that's you for the rest of your life." You know what I mean? And then, and like even how people are, you know, charging people like Bill Cosby or whatever, right? But it's like it's over 20-something years ago when they didn't have these cameras and all this stuff. Like you know, people don't know like Woody Allen, fucking Elvis Presley, all that stuff. Like if that's how we're gonna go do it. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, people used to fight without the cops finding out. Like that was just in my time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not, fuck, some might think I'm old now, shit, but I don't think I'm old.
Yeah, Kylo Castle, I remember.
Yeah, they only taught us to
7-Eleven.
The number, they only told us to the number 21. That was it. So I've been 21 for like 12 years straight. But
my opinion about media, so I'm going to go back to that Paulo Fuga. So when I watched that video, of course, you know, I felt for Paula because, you know, I felt, you know, what she was sharing was very deep and personal. Of course, for me, like Crazy Oshiro, I know, sorry if I mentioned his name, but I kind of know of him. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I don't know if I agree with him being kicked off because of something.
What's what you're expected of?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with what she's saying, it's kind of hard to make a light of what she's saying, especially when you're doing Hawaii Food Bank. But don't hire those three fuckers if you like them be on serious show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's serious and this is going to be the whole thing, like Hawaii Food Bank, homeless people, people living on the beach, like, you know what I mean? They get some serious people.
Right.
Make it one serious thing. You're getting the tree morning crew joking around all the time, and they're doing the Hawaii Food Bank. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, but he's thinking, I got to make a joke out of this. I got to make a, and you know what?
Exactly.
I think he pissed her off because I brought it up on the last podcast, but he pissed her off, really pissed her off when she finished her song and he said, "Oh, hey, Paula, so what? Who do I got to call to get it on our radio station?" That was his first joke. And she was like, she tried to laugh, like, ha, like, but like, I don't know, like, you tell me, like, because obviously, you know what I mean? We all feel that in the industry, you know what I mean? Like, we all know them. We've all done shows for them, free. She probably did that for free. Probably not. I don't know. She shouldn't. If they got Jack Johnson, I hope they paid him. But like, if he's willing to offer it, he can afford it. I don't think Paula's, like, you know, had a great career that's got her a lot of money. She's kind of been under the underground in a way. Very kind of like she slipped in with Jack Johnson, but you know, I used to go to the jam sessions with the Manamoli and all them, and you know, that's their whole crew. They didn't really get on the radio. They didn't really pump up on the radio, you know. And Paula's had some, but probably she feels she deserved more. You know what I mean? Some chances, but it's what it is. We all have this bitterness because we're trying to, you know, work with these promoters, these radio stations, and
Yeah,
and it really doesn't do anything for you. It's all business in the end. It's all business, and you know what? Fuck it. How everybody said, bruh, I hope you have the same energy, the same people that wants to mob up on Slick Vic and all that and support Paula. You better be at her fucking shows.
Yeah.
Because, bruh, I've been in this fucking industry. Nobody's showing up to nobody's shows. Nobody's shows. And right now, of course, we're not in no position to have any shows. But before this, the coronavirus never affect nothing as far as the amount of people going to the shows. But you know why nobody's going to the shows? It's because the radio's not playing nobody local. And then it's all business, who they play, which is all understandable, right? Like, if I'm going over there and, like, my band at the time, Cultural Nation, I mean, we
10,
go
10
over
plus.
there, right? 10 plus, no. The winner. No, that's Junior John there, older days. But yeah. No, but if I go over there, right, and say I bring all my friends, right? But say my band brings a few here and there, right? That's what you're expected of, right? But we're not getting paid promoted. We're not promoters. That's what people realize. They're not paying us nothing, right? They should be paying us way more if they were expecting us to promote. But that's what the double-edged sword is. Say if we do bring in a following, they're only going to pay us the same. You know, but then you could probably ask, but how much times your family, your friends will come out on the weekend, go find daycare to support you to keep doing that, right? They got to stay home sometime. And you're probably not changing up the set. And why would you change your setup every damn show, right? So you got to perform for people. But back when they was playing local music, people actually came out. You know, they had festivals with all the lineup of who was on the radio.
Yep. Birthday bash.
Yeah. Right? Now, you got to have Shaggy. You got to have Mariciahu. You got to have Steel Pole. You got to have Soldier. You got to have Catch a Fire. And that's almost local now.
Yep.
Like, that's probably like the furthest you can go. And that's an international band being from New Zealand, but still, it's not where we're at anymore. Like, so, you know, when Ray was doing the Rebel Soldiers, you know, it was smart. He put them right before Shaggy, and that's his group. So he, you know, he's promoting them. They're there right before the main act. Everybody's there for Shaggy. They're not there for the co-main event, but it doesn't matter. They are there for the co-main event, and that's his event, right? That's business 101. They wasn't there for Rebel Soldiers. I was playing shows with them when nobody was there. Except for the people that we had, right? But once we got off stage and then they closed the show, then nobody's there because they was playing everywhere, right? The Green's always here. J-Boog always lives here. Fiji's always here. How come they don't do shows every weekend? Because who's going to go every weekend, right? You got to do one show, ask for 10 grand, 15 grand, or more. I hope they ask for more. If they doing it that. But nobody's even coming for them now. Even if they do that one show. They got to be there right before the main act.
It could be that generation, too.
It's a local... We're on a different page now.
We're on a different page. Yep.
Yeah, you got to realize it went from Hawaiian to the Jawaiian. Right? But it went. Like, even Brother Iz was taking that route too. You know, Johnny Mahoy, fucking Maui, and fucking even Somewhere Over the Rainbow going reggae skank. You know what I mean? But it's like, it was all happening. Butch, Chelimano, fucking Brother Walter, Brother Nolan, like that was kind of the era. There was all, you know, and then you had C&K and all that stuff kind of coming too, but everybody was kind of getting out of the Hawaiian. And then they created its own culture, which gave birth to FM 100 and the Birthday Bash and with Hawaii Kane and all that stuff, right? But people came out because there's no other place to go to get it. And they supported, right? But then when the sound started changing and started getting more international, and then Fiji's kind of slipping in, and then like Ukla the Mox busting this whole like authentic reggae, and then they create their whole field, and then Catch a Fire comes in. There was they honestly changed, even though this sounds biased, but they changed the whole format when they first brought them up, because they came and did, I don't know if it was the Pro Bowl or the birthday bash. One of the, I think they came Pro Bowl first, and then they came out, and then they did the birthday bash where it was filmed. Yeah, they did that pay-per-view or something, and but they changed it for now. It wasn't local anymore. These guys coming out with horn sections, ba 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 ba, like doing Bob, sounding like Bob, and it's like, you know, and it was, and they came with a whole crew. Like New Zealand's very professional with the, you know, the equipment, the, you know, everything. Their shows, their, you know, people tell me all the time that go on their boards, you know, that actually get from Hawaii. They get to do sounds for Hawaii groups because they love Hawaii groups over there. You know, they look at Hawaii groups as the state. That's why I tell people we got to take advantage of that, especially if fuck what we think. Regardless, we should be able to take advantage. You know, they think of Hawaii as the states. Okay, so now this is valuable for the radio, right? Because now they might charge less if they play them on the radio, right? Because it's like, whoa, they play reggae, right? Because there's no reggae stations. There's nothing like Hawaii. Right now, we got the top 3-4 stations in Hawaii is playing local reggae music, right? And that's the top. That's over the pop stations. Like that's where it was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Right now, you got Comic Kings. They're not from here. J-Boog, they're not from here. Tanel, they're not from here. You know, and they're working with big productions. Maoli's from here.
Yeah, he's from here.
Yeah. Right? But there's only a few. How much people are going to Maoli's show if he's closing? No offense. Not trying to offend nobody. Maoli's going to have a big show if they're the co-main event right before an international act. That's going to be their biggest shows in Hawaii. You know what I mean? Now, maybe they go to Las Vegas, they might get a better following. You know, and Hawaii supports when you come back. You know, I grew up in the entertainment, in the showroom, in this, you know, not me as an entertainer, my mom. Right? Don Ho brought us to Hawaii. Like, that's how I became a citizen in general. You know, because of my mom's career. But Bruno Mars, used to see him all the time. Little Elvis, right? And he would do that all the time. He would open up for Magic of Polynesia, and he would do the Legend show all in one night. And he would sing. He would perform on the street. Nobody was there. You know, even with the Magic of Polynesia, they bring the tourists in like right when the magic show starts. Like they would come in, all the Japanese, to see it. Like they didn't even really come to see him. And then he would go and do the Legend show. And it was like nobody was there for him. And then he go blow up. Now he's selling the stadium, right? Imagine if Bruno Mars performs every weekend in Waikiki. He decides to do what Don did in Las Vegas. Well, people are going to stop going to Bruno Mars' show from Hawaii. It's not going to be 50,000 again. Like they did with Don Ho. Locals were never there at Don Ho's show. You know what I mean? Bruno is going to make money if he does that and provide to the economy like Don did, because they're going to bring in busloads of Japanese tourists and Chinese tourists. But locals not going over there to support him, right? So because he did something big, he come back there like, rah, because line up. I got to come to this show. Joe Coy, not even from Hawaii, just because he's Filipino. 11 shows straight, back to back, all sold out. Like,
killed it.
Because he's not from here. You know what I mean? They find a connection. Like Joe Soul, my friend, he's just on The Voice. He was always on live. 1, 2, 3, like people on there too. Like, and you know, we go on and stuff. But he was performing for years. Like, I I remember him like probably 15 years ago. Just him and a guitar, like, and he was doing this all the way up to this Voice. Now everybody's sharing because he made it on The Voice. Like, that's how Hawaii was. You know, it's always been Jasmine Trias. Look how crazy they went. You know, even Paula Funga was a reject for the American Idol, and she became a star in Hawaii. They had a whole album. She's working with. She brings out Mike. She brought out Mike Love, and then I forget what their group was. They had a group though, and then she does like Jack Johnson, well done song, like, or
that's like Anuhea as well. You know,
yeah,
Anuhea went.
Yeah,
she was
part of that crew too, though.
She's part of that crew.
That Mana Maoli. Yeah,
her and Kimmy Minor. You know, actually,
Irie Love.
Yeah. And they kind of became bigger. Yeah, actually, honestly, when they left, they did more international stuff. Then when they came back, and they're like, oh wow, they did all this stuff. Now here they are again. Yeah.
BJ Penn, Max Holloway, like The Rock.
Yep.
I'm like, think Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Like anytime, because we want to see our people
expand,
succeed.
Yeah. Right.
But we're not gonna keep lending you money. We're not gonna fund. You know what I mean? I love you, brah. You know what I mean? But I'm probably not gonna give you all the downloads to make you famous. You know what I mean? You have to kind of get people that will download, because supply and demand, right? We all know that it's fucking business 101. Right? One thing I noticed, I did a tour. I've traveled a little bit and got to do it, but I did a tour. This was during the winter, the 10-10 plus.
Yeah. No, really?
Right? The song did good. We got to go. Me and Rasta, we went to California, Long Beach and all that with Spawn Breezy.
Oh, really?
Who else was on the list? Trace. No, not Trey Songz. Is Trey Songz? No, I think that guy's favorite. Trey Songz is favorite, right? No, Trey Smooth, right? Trey Smooth?
Oh, it's Trey Smooth. Okay.
Right? That was the three guys, right?
Yeah.
They were featured. You make me butterfly.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in my way, girl. Sorry, it's my Fiji.
Yeah, that is Trey Smooth.
Oh, yeah. So, that was the list, though. And Finn.
Oh, really? Okay.
Finn, too. Yeah, right. These guys weren't, like, they were just on the come up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And me and Rasta, we come there with just backing tracks. Yeah, that's the goal, right? I'm like, fuck yeah, right? So, and I'm producing everything myself. My mixing, everything is all amateur, like, but people think it's good then, and that's all I come with. And I remember, like, talking, we're staying in one house, which is a Tongan family. And then we're staying at the other house across the street, which is Samoan. They're the promoters, and they're also the promoters. So they're like heavy. The Samoan house is heavy, and that's where Spawn Breeze is in that garage. We're across the street in this garage, right? And basically, like, we're going over there talking and showing him the music, and he's like, even him, he wanted to do a remix on the winner, like.
Really?
He was like, damn, that's good. Like, and then.
That was a great song.
He said, he was kind of like shunning us little bit. It was just kind of a weird vibe.
Okay.
It was a weird vibe, in my opinion, because they were kind of acting like Suge Knight, Death Row.
Oh, really?
In a way. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like a lot of the Samoans
sketchy.
over there. Yeah, they kind of have that kind of vibe over in the mainland. Because he's from Missouri. We're in Long Beach, California. Like, well, anyways. But he kind of like talks to the guy. So what's up with that keyboardist? Did you find one? He's like, bro, I'm trying to look. And then my friend Rasta, he's like, oh, bro, you need a keyboardist right here. And he's like, he looks at me. He's like, oh, what, you play keyboards? And I was like, I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, we'll see. And then, but he kind of like shunned me off too.
Oh, really?
Like, I even told the roster that I was like, bro, don't fucking. I was like, because I feel in the vibe, like, you know what I mean. I'm like, he's not really, like, he kind of doesn't even want us here.
Yeah,
like he's acting like he's famous. Now nobody knows who Spawn Breezy really is. I mean, other than some Polynesians up there, right? So, and
that's interesting.
Yeah, so full on. I was like, bro, don't ever do that again. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's already not feeling us. So the next day, I'm just chilling. I forget. I'm just waiting at their house. I think my friend Rasta left. I don't think he was at the house. I think he went with his family. So I'm like, I think I'm by myself at their place in the garage. And this SUV comes pull out, and these fucking Samoans come out. And like, hey, are you John? And I was like, yeah.
They're dragging you away.
They're like, oh, you got to come with us. And I was like, what? I was like, fuck. And I don't have no cell phone then. I have nothing. So I'm like, what the hell? Okay, shoes. Like, dude, this is dodgy, but I'll fucking throw it out. Like, like I'm just thinking, like, fuck. I don't know how they roll over here. But fucking, we all pull up to fucking Guitar Center. I'm like, the hell's what the
Oh, interesting.
I'm like, is Rasta here? Like, did he like just send, like, you know? I'm in the
He's
middle of
send
all
an
these
escort.
Samoans. They put me in the middle. I guess how big all these dudes were.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm like, dude, this is dodgy as hell, bro. I'm swear to God, like, I'm like, well, whatever. And then so full on, go in there, and like, oh, you gotta come this way, and then we go in the keyboard area. I'm like, oh man, and there I see Spawn Breezy over there, and he's like, oh, can you play something? And I was like, what do you want me to play? He's like, okay, fine. Can you play this chord and blah blah blah? And I was like, yeah, easy. And he's like, oh, okay, boom. He's like, he's good. I was like, what the hell? Like, bro, I went, and that must have been like a 45-minute drive just to play like a couple stabs with the horns and a piano skank. And that's all he wanted. And I was like, oh, okay. And then next time I'm playing with him. But the whole thing was, I do the practice with him and his band. It's his band. I'm just playing keyboards.
Okay.
They don't even know what they don't even remember the set. I only have one practice to get this down. I start whipping them all in shape. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Foom, foom, foom. Right. He goes on the mic. He's like, bro, you're my musical director for as long as you play with me right now. I was like, what? So I started telling him, and I did it so fast that he's like, I'm good with that. That's good. And I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah. And he goes, hey, what? But what are you going to play? Like, when you guys do your set? I was like, I have backing tracks. That's it. And he's like, bro. He goes, bro, they still got like half an hour left. You think you can teach? I was like, yeah. So I taught the whole band. So we were able to do the tour, like with Spawn Breezy and all that.
Wow.
I backed them up, but his band backs me up, and Rasta, and so we did all that. But that whole experience was
That's insane, man.
yeah. Well, Rasta ends up staying up there.
No, really?
Yeah, because it was a success. We killed it. So like, yeah. So that's kind of like the whole point I was originally coming with. I know I went on a whole tangent, but was we would play. I would just play on the guitar and just sing, right? Like normal. And everyone's coming out of their houses and like circling around. And they come to find out they never even talk to their neighbors. They got like black neighbors, they got Mexican neighbors, and it's kind of like, I don't think it's ghetto, but you know, it's like, I guess ghetto people inside a nice house, like in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But you know, it was like it unified it. And then like all of those artists, like they just had this look on them, like fuck, like, and for Hawaii artists, they hear like Finn, they're like, oh, I need to sound more R&B and stuff like that. But I remember, man, we jammed, and they would just look like that's authentic, like to them. Like they were kind of like yeah, and we were out of place. We were out of place, but they were like marveling us, like that's real reggae. That's how it's supposed to be. That's real island music. Like, but it brought all the people together. Like just the vibe that we was coming with just in Hawaii, and it was. But that's the supply and demand.
It came together.
That's the supply and demand. You see what I mean? Like, it's a rarity over there. You know what I mean? If everybody looked like The Rock over there, right? Would The Rock be as big as he is? Right? But he's like a token Polynesian that people don't know what a Polynesian is. Right? Because he don't look black. Like, you know, like we got so many islanders that look like that on the regular here. So if that was regular for them, it probably wouldn't be as huge, you know, or the response, but that is the supply and demand. Bruno Mars, you know what I mean? Like, people that look like that, nobody knows what he is. Nobody say, oh, but he's from Compton, or like he's repping a place. Like, people don't even know he's from Hawaii. He's not repping a place. He's a star.
They just say he's Bruno Mars. That's all it is, yeah.
The Rock is a star, you know. I'm surprised he's an American citizen, because his parents are from New Zealand. I mean, his mom's side is from Samoa and New Zealand, and his dad's Canadian. You know, and
he's American.
Yeah, but you know that's probably from the grandpa Peter Maivia. But I think he had ties in Hawaii. When wrestling had ties in Hawaii too. Yeah, my dad was in that too. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I remember back when, you know, Cultural Nation was starting to make more stuff like Blue Lights Flashing. I still feel
that was me and Rasta. Yep, that was before Culture Nation. I had to promote that because he stayed up there. He stayed up there. I got to work and pay bills. Yeah, and he just stayed up there, and we was like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I was the Dr. Dre, he's Snoop Dogg, right? And it's like I'm making the beats and I'm promoting all this stuff, and I'm making all these moves too, but I don't have the other half. So it's like, and then
you make these guest appearances.
Me and, you know, my ex at the time, we decided to start our own thing, you know, and basically that's, you know, how Culture Nation began. Yeah. So a lot of people, because we were giving the CDs and was promoting my stuff that's coming out of my studio, you know what I mean? Because I got to use that. They'd want to hear those songs, right? We didn't have no Culture Nation songs. That's why Culture Nation album has none of those tracks, you know? And it's because it really is not all my track, you know? That it was a collaborated
with Rasta.
Yeah, Rasta and other dude, Jamie. Styles, yeah.
Yeah, people don't know. They don't know those tracks, man. But those tracks were.
I know them. I only have rough copies. My damn iMac, my Mac. Yeah, if anybody ever has any of the old CDs that I used to burn, a shitload of them. I'm like hoping one person just has one of those CDs.
Yeah, those originals, man. Oh,
yeah, because I lost everything. I gotta, get it all back. And
still remember that one set you did. I don't know. I forgot which bar it was. I want to say it was in Pro City. Oh, maybe it was no. It was somewhere in town. But then you were playing guitar and you were playing keys.
Yeah, that was
Pro City.
Yeah, it was. What is it called? Foreplay.
Yeah, it was Foreplay.
It was upstairs.
Yeah.
I know. I would play anything. That's how we started. The Culture Nation started because I was playing for a band here called Higher Fire. Shout out to Shaka B, even though he's typical Hawaiians on that page now. But when I was hanging around with those brothers and playing keyboards for them, yeah, they would always have to sub, because that's the thing about Hawaii, right? It's very hard to do business here, especially we're trying to pursue this, because these guys want to, play with 20 bands, which makes sense, right? Because business-wise, is your band going to keep me busy and give me a steady income where every weekend I get paid, right? Answer is no. So you got to freelance and fill up those weekends. But there's going to be overbooking. So people are getting screwed over no matter. And then you kind of got to go off of that. So when I was playing High Fire, the guys would switch. All right? And then it got so bad that, like, he just couldn't fulfill, like, teaching a new drummer or, like, these guys. I think he just got to his last strings already.
Oh, I see.
And basically we had I think it was a band competition or something that we were supposed to do. And he calls me up and he says, bro, I got to cancel the show.
Yeah.
It was on the top of Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
So the only person I was down was Willie, was the bass player, not my bass player. Later became my bass player, but I was like, bro, since they canceled the show, like, you down to do it? Like, cause he called me, he's like, unless you want to do it. That's what he told me. And I was like, yeah, I'll fucking do it. So I'm just calling people, no practice. I'm like, bro, it's band competition, bro. Like, I've never even played with these people. And, like, it was all over the place. I think, like, parts of them was Kapu System.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it was just, like, it was all over the place. It was just like, bro, if you can back us up. And we just, like, did, like, 3 covers or something. I think, like, Augie T was the judge. But it wasn't supposed to be our show. But that was the birth of the first Culture Nation. Like,
oh, sheesh.
And that's how I got into it. And then I not only that was the opportunity to start, but I kind of inherited those same issues that he had, really? To where I would have subs all the time because my problem was I couldn't say no, and then I would hunt. I would fucking bother everybody.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I would
with
bother.
Drummers.
The hustle was ready. Oh, I had so many. I had
so many drummers.
It was hard, but it was like I would continuously like, yes. Like, oh, bro, I like, what's up? Good. You guys need anyone to play? Like, I'm not even thinking about business. Just want the opportunity, right? Which people overplay the exposure or whatever, right? And it's just, it was. I would have a chameleon band.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, Mai Tai would jump in sometimes. And
yeah.
Sometimes
that was one of those. Yeah, that was the era. Yeah, exactly. And it was just, I just kept saying yes. I don't care who plays. Like, and I would go out of my way. It was a lot of work. I that kind of burned out a lot of my ambition, unfortunately. Now I'm more calculated. For me, it's not really an objective. I kind of did everything I felt I could do with trying to be a live band and make it. Because in the end, I did all for the Culture Nation album. Is the first official release. I got so much underground. I had so much underground music back then that I produced, but I'm such a perfectionist. To me, it's already flawed. I don't have the budget to get it professionally done. It's not professionally done. I just made, you give me anything that makes it fucking, any music or anything, I'll make music out of it. Like any pitch, whatever. So I kind of was on that level and just make it, do with what I have. And that was but I knew that. So when I did the Culture Nation, now I was like, okay, I'm going to go to where Fiji them go to, Wendell Ching, shout out to Wendell Ching. But like, it's just, I did everything though. Like you look at my CD, it will say everything designed by Junior John, because I didn't have a fucking budget. And I was I went in there and did all the foundations of the whole album, like right off the bat. And then I was committed to finish fucking 11 songs. There's a lot of work, and it was just kind of heartbreaking in the end because, well, it's funny because it was a good timing too, but it was kind of the end of the wave, what I feel. And because I was doing everything by myself, people didn't really know me in this world. And I didn't have any really team or support system to, help that. I was just doing everything myself. Mm-hmm. And out of the 11 tracks on the album, I think it was eight was played on the radio. All original, all me mixed, all me mastered. Mm-hmm. I got 8 out of the 11.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't heavy rotation. Some was more than others, but I got 8 songs played of the album. I don't know much people that can see that. Mm-hmm. But some have had rotation more than me. But I go and do after that album. I'm like, okay, it's not good enough, right? So I go do the shit with Langa and Fiji and all this. Mm-hmm. The song I did with Fiji, fucking not only worked with Langa, Fiji, but I sent this out to the Wailers.
Oh, really?
The Wailers. Oh. And they was going to do all the mix and master. I didn't really like that. Mm-hmm. So I still paid for it all. But I took the tracks that they'd added, and then I gave it to get mixed and mastered by fucking Damian Marley and fucking Chronix. Last albums was mixed and mastered by the same guys, and I had a cartoon made.
Oh, really?
$5,000. I put it out there, sorry, and that was actually a hookup, but $5,000 for a fucking cartoon for the music video, right? Now, I'm not gonna get into all the fucking for one track. That's why when all these artists and stuff come in and you know what I mean, I'm willing to help, willing to do all that stuff, but how bad do you really want it? You know what I mean? I was doing it on an $8 an hour. I was working fucking security when I met you. Yeah. Right? $8 an hour. Okay. And they didn't want to give you no overtime. You know what I mean? So I was making do. And that life was ridiculously stupid. Mm-hmm. Right? It was just stupid. That was not a life. It was ambition, but I was getting crushed every time. Mm-hmm. But I do those 3 songs, right? And none of them get played as much as the album. So you know what I mean? It doesn't really fucking. There's the mathematics of it all. It doesn't work as one main thing. You know what I mean? To me, because it's like my kids, right? If I had them in school, right? I got them homeschooled, but that's because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But if I had them school, I had them recording, I had them released, I get the whole school fucking playing their friends, their classmates in school. Then boom, their cousins, their friends, their stuff, all of them, the age group. No other kids is going to be doing this. Right? So they create this whole pump. Right? Because people tend to realize, my kids watch a whole different YouTube than we do. And they all watch the same YouTube. All the kids know exactly what they're talking about. They watch this guy play video games. They know who this toy review is. But those guys is making money. The business on it, right? So I know if I start them early, because for me, as I started, I was just in the martial arts. That was it. Arlo got me into the music. Now, I'd always been around it. Don't get me wrong. My mom would throw me on stage with fucking 20,000 people in the damn stadium. And I'm 3-4 years old and I got a damn, I'm part of her show, right? So I've seen everything, but I was never a great performer. I was a rebel on all that. So I just tell people, I was bro, wasn't always a musician. They think I was Rasta or something. I was like, when did I ever tell you I was Rasta? They go, oh, well, you sing all this Rasta stuff. I was like, yeah, but my thing is I'm Polynesian, and to be Rasta is to be yourself. That's what I think. I'm born what I was born. Everyone's born what they are. my ancestors are part of the rope that I am of today.
Mm-hmm.
Rastas come from a long history of slavery, and they ended up in Jamaica. All the rebels of all the slaves were sent to Jamaica as like a prison. And the Maroon tribe got away. They hid up in the mountains and they became the Rastas, the Nyabingi, all that stuff. So they heard about like Marcus Garvey, who's from the United States, who prophesied from the Bible that a great king would come from Ethiopia, a black king, to bring the slaves back. Okay, now he's an American. This is Martin Luther King's boy.
Okay,
right? He comes to fruition with Haile Selassie. So now the Jamaicans are like, yay, we can go back to Africa. Right? Because that's what the prophecy is. But this is an American guy that prophesied.
it.
Rastas, but this is why what makes them Rasta is the full tribe. That's their culture. Ethiopia is the first Christian nation. Like all this stuff. But that's their history. That's recent for them. While that was going on, my people were traveling the Pacific, finding these islands, and we were guided by. For our languages to be the same. It took 40 years for Moses to go to one side. 40 years for him to get to Egypt, then 40 years to get to the Promised Land. So 80 years of traveling. You Google map it. It's a 2.5 day walk. As Google Maps. On foot. So 80 years. This is the guiding of their God. Now, I don't denounce nobody. But I don't like people denouncing my ancestors. To me, I don't believe my ancestors is the way. We're in a new era. We're in a universal era. You know what I mean? I'm not throwing you off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work. The old way not gonna work. You know what I mean? But we still represent who we are. It's like even when I used to go to Christian churches and do all that, like to me, my whole concept that I would look at is like, bro, are you Christian or are you Christ-like? I'd prefer to be Christ-like, and Christ-like is actions. You know what I mean? I don't care what you believe in. If you're not a good person, you're not a good person. Don't even represent a religion, because that's not even the religion's fault. I'm not going to even let you. You know what I mean? So, me, it's just how I act. But my ancestors come with me, and that's just how we as Polynesians have always lived. And it goes inside. You don't have to be religious to know about aloha. I've been around the world, including Jerusalem, Israel. They don't have aloha. Okay, and I call it different because everyone knows love, but I've not been too much places where real love has existed. Aloha exists, and you don't have to be religious. And it's somehow we can have it both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But the aloha is the action, and that's all I care about. You know what I mean? I don't judge nobody. No, like. I don't believe in nothing. I just feel, what plant are you? You know what I mean? Like, when you look at a tree that's dying, right? But there's leaves that's decomposing on the other tree, and it starts killing that tree. You know what I mean? What tree are you? Are you the tree that's going to start bringing life to it? What's the flower you're going to bloom? You're going to be the cancer? You're going to be the one that heals, and and I think that's the best we can do. It's like you're gonna feel different about a sunset or a rose because of its religious beliefs. Like, you know what I mean? Think about it. The beauty's there. It gives everybody the same feeling. I'm going on and on.
No, but you're right about it, because and this is the same thing I told people. Just because someone says they're a Christian doesn't mean they're going to be a good person.
Yeah.
I've met, and I'm not going to name people, but I've met Christians where they've been really terrible people.
Oh, terrible, amazing. Some of the worst people.
Some of the worst people ever.
Some of the best You know,
Exactly.
but even on all sides, Gandhi is Bob Marley, amazing.
Yep.
I don't have to be. You know what I mean? I think he was right for what his ancestral lineage and what he chose to fight for, because he was coming straight out of that environment. You know what I mean? We all have our own issues, and I think that's more like Rasta. You know, like Bob said, keep your culture. Don't be afraid of the vulture. Like, you know what I mean? Bob went to New Zealand. He went to a marae. He had, you know, the Maori, you know, tribe came and did the haka. He was one of his best experiences that he put it in the video jamming. Like, you know, he'd experienced culture. Like, you cannot come to our islands and our people and not feel the mana. And mana is not something that's around the world either. You know what I mean? More or less people are like, oh, this place is creepy. And if I go Chernobyl or something, you know, like I'd be creeped out, right? I don't know if that's mana. Like,
Chernobyl is a different place.
Yeah, exactly. But like a ghost town, like, oh, this is got a wrong turn. Like, but you know,
not in Kansas anymore.
Exactly. No, but that, you know, that's just one thing. I think Hawaii in general provides the world, and I think that's almost something that even, you know, for anyone young coming up with ambition and stuff like that, you know, like I really like, if you can keep a home base here in Hawaii and somehow, like, everything's gonna change. And it's changed immensely, like, you know, since my time here, you know, and that's not gonna, but you're just gonna be on this struggle, you know, and it takes away the aloha. Like, you know, I come a lot of people that originally had aloha when we had nothing, and then it's like nobody's able to help each other out in the end, and then it creates bitterness, and it's nobody's fault. It's just, I can't help you. I'm struggling here too. We're just trying to stay afloat, like everybody is, you know. But you really got to help yourself. You can't be trying to drag that person down. And really, we can't be relying on the locals for the income. And where I say is the supply and demand part is aloha is something we can offer the whole world. Our whole lifestyle. They love it. Look at those shakas. Every time. Shaka, oh, shaka. Yep. The whole UFC. That's like the slogan now. You know what I mean? Used to be a bald guy that went like that. But now it's like this. You know what I mean? But it's huge. Like, our culture is undeniable. And it's a melting pot. Like, the history of Hawaii is unlike anywhere else. Like, to me, all this racial stuff with America, all these issues is because they didn't go through what we went through. See, like, they're like, oh, I'm African American, I'm Asian American, I'm right, but they're creating like, what is an American? There's no white American. Like, you know what I mean? But there's white America, like they talk about that. But people got it all fucking wrong. Like, the whole white America is old. White people don't come off the planes to move to America to join white America. They are now what they call immigrants. So Russians, all that, we all in this pool of immigrants. The melting pot, they just haven't melted together. See, for Hawaii, they got 200 years of all these cultures working together. So now everybody's Hawaii, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino. We're proud of each culture. You know what I mean? And even guys local, they're dark, and they'll say, oh, I'm Irish, German, like, but they say that they hate howlers. You know what I mean? Like, but they're gonna say that pride, like, that's what America's not at yet. You know, you go to other states, they're all different cultures. It's what they think is a melting pot, but the guy's black, that guy's Mexican, that guy's Chinese, That guy's Vietnamese. Like they're not even coinciding together. You know what I mean? In Hawaii, it's like, oh, everybody's a melting pot.
Something.
Yeah. And that's what the future of the world holds. That's all Western thought. All these labels. That's it. It's just a way to divide no matter. And it's all rubbish. Our people navigated. We went through islands with people on it. We bred with them. You know, there's a whole pool of Micronesian, Melanesian, and Polynesian. They have history together. They're all mixed. You know, there's no such thing. And they came from Southeast Asia. And you're talking 3000 BC. So we're all an evolving, and you know, we move on. Like my kids have, you know, 4 main cultures, and you know, my mom's Maori, my dad's Scottish, you know, and my kids are Maori, Scottish, Black, and Samoan. Like that's their 4 right there. Like, you know what I mean? But when they have kids, you know, all that stuff doesn't even matter. Yeah, because one day we're just gonna be these good-looking human beings. Yeah, you know, and that's. And when everyone's thinking America's fucked up, at least America's having the conversation. You know, like I tell people, like Michael Jordan is such a, like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson. It's really not too many 3 people that's any huger to come out of America, and they're all black. You know what I mean? That's the American dream. This is why immigrants come. This is, you know, this is why if they can do it, anybody can do it. That's exactly how anybody else feels besides white America. And that's, you know, and like I said, white America's not recruiting. There's going to be a lot of, from the south of the border, that bleeds into the cultures of America. There are going to be a lot more people that have Hispanic heritage on a base, you know what I mean? Like we have Chinese, we have Japanese, you know, there's a lot of that, a lot of Filipinos, like even though they mix, we have high numbers of that. Well, that's what I think they're gonna have, and everybody's just gonna be good looking people. That's what I think. I think, like, honestly, I think, you know, opposites attract. That's true too, you know. You're just gonna go with the, like, you know, if I go somewhere where nobody looks like me, or nobody looks like you stick out. You know what I mean? You go to Africa, they're gonna be like, oh, like, you know, like they probably touch you, like, you know, they just marvel, like, oh, you don't look like anybody I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, you know, when you go to places like that, it's like you're a treasure, like, you know, and I just go down a rant. One of my rants. Okay. Well, I guess what's something you want to talk about?
You know, I want to build off of that. You know, Hawaii that's great too, because I have a show idea called Melting Pot, which is gonna be stationed in Hawaii. But I'm gonna have to reveal that much later. But I have a script and everything. But yeah, you know, the thing about what makes Hawaii special, which is also why, you know, going back to the music industry, why, you know, people, if you have a band that's playing every week, why nobody really goes to it is because it kind of dilutes in this melting pot. Yeah. Right. And the thing is, like, when you get a band that has a style, right, that's in this melting pot, but then you take it out of the melting pot and you serve this bowl, right? This new bowl to people in, let's just say Ohio, for instance, right? They're going to listen to this and they're going to be like, they're going to listen to Blue Lights Flashing and they're going to be like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Yeah. You know? And then they're going to try to find some kind of relation to it. Oh, you know what I mean? Blue Lights Flashing, that's a perfect example of, like, oh crap, the cops. I totally get what you guys are talking about. But then, you know, of course, people here, they're going to hear that and they're going to go, wow, yeah, I understand that. But the reason why they don't go every week is because it's like, okay, now it's kind of diluted with everything else. And we were talking about it earlier with even rappers, you know, the whole all these southern rappers just kind of that there's no East Coast West Coast vibes anymore.
Yeah,
It's
not really.
everything just kind of
Unless they're trying to.
Yeah. But everything kind of diluted into this whole
Trap South.
right. And there's guys over here that I hear really making some like new styles. There's guys like I'll shout out his name, Aries J, who's he's from Kailua. He's a rapper.
Shout out to Aries J.
Yeah, great friend of mine. There's Sands. Funny thing about him, his name is Sterling Higa. He's a
I think
hit.
I've heard of him.
He's a teacher.
Okay.
Let me get my fact straight. He can correct me if I'm wrong if later on somewhere. But he does stuff with like political. He does he's very knowledgeable in politics, right? And he did political analysis for my friend Aaron, but when they interviewed like mayors and stuff like that. But he's creating his own style here too. So there's like Sands, but then his style is more and it's becoming more of a it is starting to become more diluted in the culture because people are hearing like kind of this smooth beat and then mixing it with kind of this rap style. So they hear like stuff like trying to think of like not trap music, but it's kind of along that line, like chill beats, and then you add in rap, and then people are starting to jive with that, right? And that's starting to become part of the melting pot too. So it's like that evolution of music, right? Especially here, with local reggae music, like you were saying before, 10 years ago, that was birthday bash, right? You have the headliners, right? Catch a Fire was at the end. Everybody came, everybody was jamming to that. And then the
Back
lineup.
then, it was like Ikolu would
right?
close
Natural
the show.
Vibes.
They could close a show.
Yeah, they could close a show. But then now it's like, it's different because, and I don't want to say people have become used to it or complacent to kind of that style. Like they're just kind of like, oh, it works. It's a formula that works. And then over time, people are like, okay.
There's a lot, there's a lot that goes involved with that lifestyle. Because it's
Right.
like everybody, if we're going off of back in those days, we're locals.
Mm-hmm.
Because the tourists weren't going to Waikiki's shack
Oh, yeah.
to see Kolu.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all the locals would come out, right? But you got to tell me, that was crazy time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first birthday bash wasn't like when, the fucking 15th birthday bash
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean? Like it went crazy at one point. You know what I mean? Now it's the Major Raja, which is basically the same idea, but now you got international. You got to, right? And like I went to that show with the Tribal Seeds did it.
Mm-hmm.
And even Still Pulse, and it was kind of empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the main act.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, so now that's the business problem, right? So now, of course, people are going to just change. Oh, wow, it was some windy over here. But, the thing was, that's definitely, obviously, what's going on. But, with that amount of, let's go to the Major Rages, a 2-night thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many DUIs going on that night,
Yeah.
right? So now you're not going to go out again. Then think about it, you got to get daycare. You got to do all that.
Oh, yeah.
Think about now your friend's band's not playing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about the younger generation coming up is over the older generation's local reggae.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they like to, cause like fuck, go Y&I. I don't hear anybody playing fucking Pohaku. You know what I mean? I don't hear people playing Koa Uka.
Oh.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone's playing this, trap stuff. This is like, and, and they do the fucking heavy reverb sound in the back.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's like the culture is not even, there's no culture at what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be Hawaiian. It used to be reggae. And now it's just kind
It's just
of
noise at this point now. No, I mean, really, like it's just kind of like static noise in the background. Everything just kind of goes together.
It's very. It's funny because it's so obvious where they're saying that this is the route. Like when you hear these new artists that do get played, it's like, oh, that's definitely how it's supposed to be done, right? But even for them, like, no, like, you know, no offense to like people like Fia and stuff, right? Because he's doing his thing, right? But he's probably getting way more love outside of Hawaii. Everybody's playing his stuff, like Lico Jordy right now, but you know how Florida shows in Hawaii, right? He's huge in Hawaii. If he doesn't know it, yes. Marcus, good bro of mine. He's musically as an artist, he's huge in a way. He's a household name, okay, but he's probably not filling the seats because fuck, I like stay home with my family. You know what I mean? I don't like get a DUI. I don't like have to get daycare. Hopefully, I don't drink too much. Have a great time because my friends jamming on stage, and then I fight with my old lady, or you know what I mean. Think about this girl went talk to me, and my old lady came and false crack her, like, and then now cause all this trauma. Or this guy went talk to my chick, and now I'm fighting all his boys getting mobbed. Like this is like. This was you know, this happens. Why risk that, right? I'm gonna support him from a distance, right? But if he was to go to damn The Voice, it's like, oh, bro, you heard Marcus is on The Voice. Like, oh yeah, bro, I'm so proud of him, bro. They gonna vote because they can stay at home. They can vote. Yeah, they just gonna call up. Blah, 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 that's all good. Oh, there's no voice in Hawaii. Oh, bro. Hey, bro, my cousin. Oh, cuz. Yeah. What time is it over there in Las Vegas, bro? Fuck, can you go vote for my brother Marcus because they're not letting Hawaii go? You know what I mean, or something. But that's when we will, right? Coming out, putting your friends, and they spending their money every weekend, and they gotta go work all week. Hawaii life is rough, not only for the artist. You know what I mean? And if we love the local community, we need to realize that. And we need to take lead. We need to make barriers. Stop getting mad. When you see someone else, stop hating. You can hate. Please, by all means, if anybody's tuning in, hate, please. Because you guys probably the biggest marketing team that can possibly be. You guys working for free. You guys marketing. You know what I mean? So please hate. I would love it. If I say something wrong that gets you butthurt, fucking make a whole thing about it. Whatever, right? Because you're only going to blow up my podcast. Right? I'm not trying to. I'm just going to be real and say what's coming on my head. But in the end, like, that's the marketing team. But you guys are trying to... There's enough bread for everybody. But the problem is there's no bread here in Hawaii for us.
Yeah.
Like...
What are you cracking?
Maoli's doing all this country. Go get your ass to Nashville right now.
Oh, yeah.
Go pump that shit. Get them. You fucking got a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
They don't got that. They got country over there. They ain't got fucking that voice. You can make it famous. They might make that the new sound of country.
Right.
And then all these Hawaiian country, Craigie, whatever the fuck, gonna go up there.
Craigie.
And reap fucking all the benefits. You know what I mean? Fuck, that's what I would tell Maoli.
Yeah, because they're going to jam to it. You know what I mean? It's a new style.
Yes.
Right. But then over here...
Fucking go to that market.
Yeah.
Go to the guys that's buying those shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Hawaii's not buying nobody's. Well, I don't care. Rap, reggae, fucking... We're not buying none of that. Walmart stopped fucking... The only thing is Hawaiian music right now. That's the only thing going on for Hawaii now. Because it's full circle now. Nobody does it. So if you're doing it, you're getting on jobs. So now you're getting... The real money is from... Because I was a tour guide. That's where my mind would change. I don't know. Oh, cuz I'm making fucking $400 to $500 a day doing this. Just to pay my band. But do the exposure and my ties, which is awesome. But I was losing money just doing a fucking show. Okay, so what business is that either? And Mai Tais is packed, but Mai Tais was packed, regardless if I'm there or not. Yes, of course, I should have been paid more. Or my band should have been paid more based on what we provided the crowd that you did. And fucking bro.
And who knows if any of those
straight
people
up
remember.
$500 for 3 hours.
Oh, really?
I'm the only lead singer that was in the band now. And I don't wail soft. And I'm saying, ooh, like a fucking screaming. For 3 hours, it's packed. Okay? You cannot fucking fit any more people in this damn place. And just the people in my band, like one person on my band, I remember their checks after the 3-hour show supporting would be over $200. Okay? You paying us $500. Okay? I brought it down to 6 people in the band with horns. 6 people in the band.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and they paying check. So I get them 2 weeks later. Okay, I gotta pay everybody $100. Like, we had it lucky because me and my ex and the other 2 was a couple, but we took 100, they took 100. So we split. So out of 4 people, the other 2.
Oh, for a 3-hour set.
Right,
Jeez.
3-hour set.
Wow.
Packed. Okay?
Wow.
Just one of my friends' tables bill was over $200. And it's packed. And it's just one person. Imagine the other person in the band, how much they spending for 3 hours of drinking and eating and the whole family, right? We should have been paid way more. Right? But that's why I had to stop it. So I'm working all week just to give my band the check. I mean, the cash, right? I'm getting taxed. But I'm not getting taxed on the check when tax return comes. So I'm getting paid $500 every show. They would have us play 4 weekend slots a month sometimes.
Oh, really? Oh.
Like, it's packed.
It's insane.
And like, they were using us up. And I asked for a little bit more money. I was like, fuck, $725. 3-hour show, bro. I'm busting my ass. I ain't fucking sitting there like a fat fuck fucking singing inside voice.
For a 3-hour set, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? But it was packed. The best, it was when it was the show that everybody saw. You know what I mean? And people would come from around the world, right? But I would do tours. Just me with a fucking ukulele singing, ooh, bro. All around the world, same fucking song every day. I don't care. I end the damn tour with that. Like, I do songs in between, but probably 3 songs, bro. $400 to $500 cash in my hands every day. I don't have to pay nobody, and I'm getting paid hourly. The fuck? What am I doing? I'm making money off of the tourists. See, that's when I switched. I'm like, what am I doing? So I started doing shows. When I was getting that kind of money, I was doing shows. I didn't mind as much. But the problem with the Mai Tais was the fucking tax return after. I'm like, holy shit. How much do I owe? Bro, frick that, bro. I stay fucking... I'm like, I'm done. Because that was ridiculous. And it's packed. It's not like people leaving. People left on plenty bands that played on the weekends, but they never pay. There was no reason not to pay good.
Yeah, at least $1,000. If you're gonna have a packed house like that for a 3-hour set,
at least,
you know,
packed for 3 hours, packed. You know what I mean? How much money can you? You know, what I mean? We're not stupid.
I mean, maybe if they did 500, then it would be hour half set, maybe hour.
But why? Why am I gonna go over there? I gotta pay daycare. I gotta go up all those fucking stairs to put all our damn equipment up there for 6 people in the band for 1 hour, and you can and we're not getting 100 each. Really? My one keyboard was close to $4,000, broke at my ties. Do I get paid for that?
Jeez.
Fucking drunk motherfucker thinks it's funny, drops the whole fucking picture all over my damn pedals. Do I get paid for that?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
It's brutal.
That's the kind, but that's what we're dealing with. Little on the countless amount of fucking hours we practicing. And this is why artists are bitter here. We mad at each other. We mad at each other. Like, I tell motherfuckers, like, stop going to your damn idol. Stop going to the artist that you think is the shit and expecting him to not only give you approval, but to fucking do something for you. He is not happy with him. I've talked, I don't like dropping names, but in my opinion, when I was doing reggae, who I saw at the top, I wish I was. I wish I was on as successful as them. I've been in the room with them. I've had talks with them. And they bitter as fuck with the industry. They feel like they are all getting screwed at the top. You can come up with the names yourself. But it doesn't matter. I talked to them. They bitter. They're not getting enough media. They're not getting enough pay. They're not getting enough gigs. They're not getting like enough on the radio. They're not getting you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They all feel that. All of them. Go to the top. Work your way down. So we go over there to them. And our hopes are up. Oh my God, I'm here with fucking Fiji. Or like, you know what I mean? It's nothing personal stuff. Like, it's nothing. I never had this problem with Fiji or expected it. I know how it is. But more and more, you just got to understand that that's what it is. If you fucking, it's like this. Grab Fiji and grab LeBron James, put him in a room. Right? Fiji's not trying to be a fucking, or Fiji and Troy Polamalu. Right? Now you put Troy Polamalu and fucking Junior Seau in the same room. Right? Now you got a little bit of fucking, I'm better than you. Like, you see what I mean? Now they're in their field, right? But now you get Fiji and Troy Polamalu. They all self-respect. Because you in your field, I'm in my field. Now they feel comfortable. Right? I have this whole theory that no matter how successful you are, you're going to end up in the same room. But there's never room for two of you. So you're going to have like Michael Jordan. You're going to have Michael Jackson. You're going to have fucking John F. Kennedy. You're going to have Marilyn Monroe. You're going to have all in this damn room. Right? But none of them do the same, but they feel comfortable now. Because they really, when they're around somebody that's like in their industry, like they got to act some kind of way, like that they're greater. But it's a fake persona. It's kind of a fucking defense mechanism. It's like, yeah, just leave me the fuck alone. Like, I don't want to listen to your demo. No, I don't want to fucking.
Yeah, the insecurity.
Yeah. Like, and you're like, oh, can you just please talk to me? And then they get all butthurt. You know what I mean? That's what they say. Never fucking meet your idols. And that's, that's just like, it's just, it goes across the board like that. And that's why I tell people, like, just fucking, like, I learned this. Like, I wish I could have had the band and support to have on the same page, but I was always by myself in the end. Culture Nation was me. I just wanted to make it a band sound. Like, don't get me, I didn't play everything, but I funded everything. I did all the work. I did all the vision. Nobody contributed other than, and like, I would have to figure out like drum parts and bass parts and at least have my shit unless they came up with something too. But it was on the fly. We didn't have time to practice. We never fucking practiced. The shows were the practices. Like, that was it. Yeah. And we got fucking tight, but we never practiced. I didn't have time. I didn't have time. I didn't want to waste anybody's time. And we're not getting paid jack shit at the show. So what the fuck am I doing all this practicing for? You know what I mean? So it's just bad. It was bad business all around. And I just trying to, try to get people to kind of understand that. Stop. You know, stop. If you're trying to come up, like, you know, come up. Make product. You need product.
Mm-hmm.
You need something like this. This is why I'm doing this. It's been a long time doing it. Damn, we're an hour and a half into it. Damn, right? But thank you, man, because like, you know, it's that's why I thought of you first, because like I needed somebody. There's not much people that like you can have these dreams and this ambition, but it's like nobody's on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
They always have some kind of other, but nobody's doing it. Like no, and then it's like, oh, bro, this podcast would be a great idea. Like they came up with it. Like I've been over here, but you know what I mean. But when you don't get the support system,
mm-hmm.
it's hard for you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the crazy guy in the fucking room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody talks, oh, Albert Einstein is a fucking genius. He's so smart. If you were in the damn room with him, you know how fucking crazy he would go? Because nobody thinks like him. You know what I mean? And if he starts talking about theories and what he's thinking about and what kind of equations has come to mind, like you're going to be like, oh, that dude's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? He's fucking nuts. And that's what you feel like. That's what I felt like, you know, doing this. And I just always encourage people, just, you know, just think of it all. Yeah. Like, look at it. It's not these idols or these guys that are on top are not, it's not that far. They're human.
Yeah.
You know, there are gatekeepers. They're not gatekeepers. They're trying to find the gatekeepers. You know what I mean? They're trying to, and that's it. It's all you can do. Represent Hawaii. Go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Go. Just start playing acoustic.
Yeah.
We have so much talent that, and we sound so good just behind one fucking guitar that if you go there, you'd set up a whole fucking tour. Easy. Yeah. You come there with the merchandise. You come there with, you get somebody, bring out a half. Okay? You just do acoustic shows around.
Mm-hmm.
Go with a fucking book. Get everybody's email.
Mm-hmm.
Every show you do. Get their number, their information. Your girlfriend can do it while you're doing the damn show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? YouTube, power couple. Boom. Right? Get their information. Get a card that has all your fucking social media information. Or there's ways I believe you can just, they can, you know, look at see, I don't know enough about technology but what is it called? That little scanner thing.
Oh, like a QR code thing?
Yeah. But you can do it and it just pops everything up.
Yeah.
You just have to be prepared like that. And you need merchandise. You need product. You need to flood them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even for me, right? We're doing this podcast, right? I want people to come on, right? But there has to be stuff. They can't just come on like, oh, one picture. You know what I mean? Like, I've got to fucking up it up. Like, if I'm going to try and attract people onto my page or anything, I've got to have something there that creates more. It could be anything. Just make product. You know what I mean? And me, I have these problems too. Like, I'm such a perfectionist. It's never good enough. I always want to be better, you know? But I always, you know, like, people say this, I forget, if you reach for the moon, if you aim for the moon, you reach the stars. That don't make no damn sense to me.
I think it's if you aim for the moon, at least you'll fall amongst the stars.
Yeah, that doesn't make no damn sense.
I don't know about that.
To me, is if you fucking aim for the stars, you'll reach the moon. There are no stars between us and the moon. So, but, you know, that's just my scientific mind.
Yeah, in other words,
but yeah, no, but that's why. Yeah. So I look at them, international, like I've always been like that. When I did MMA, all my friends, I was like, bro, we can beat the champs of the UFC. Like, they couldn't, they could never, you know what I mean? Because we stuck in that small, we as international as can be. You know why? Because they come over here. Everybody. The whole world comes here. We have, being a tour guide, I've seen people all around the world, all different cultures. They come here. Like, my whole talking has changed. You know, because I'm better at talking to anybody now. Like, I don't have to, pigeon. I'll put it on because I was my young, right? But you have to be able to communicate. That's the goal. Why learn English if you're not going to communicate, right? I'm not trying to fucking not be able to communicate to everybody. So that's, but I learned a lot about people from all around the world. You know what I mean? And we all know. That's one thing. Hawaii, what's the first question? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from fucking Louisiana.
Or what school you go to, huh?
Well, that's if you're getting local.
If you're going local.
But if you're not, then it's like, Louisiana. Okay, what are you?
Yeah.
Right? Because now we don't know Louisiana.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to talk about a football team or something like, you know what I mean? But other than that, then it's like, what are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm actually El Salvadorian and fucking German. I don't know, a bunch of stuff, right? But it's like, I'm part German too, like, you know what I mean? Or we just find ways to, relate. And we talk to visitors. We actually love talking to visitors more than I think people realize. Like, everything, Hawaii's racist, and we're not racist. Okay, we hate all races equally. Okay, there's no racism in that.
Yeah, we were just talking about melting pot. I want to talk about that, and I'll end off with that. But even with product, I want to tell people about doing a podcast, right, or even doing anything, because like, when doing my podcast, I never thought I would get to a point where I'm talking to Chris Styles, or I'm interviewing the mayor candidates, right, or even and none of these were like I asked them to. I never like reached out to like Chris Styles was like, oh, you wanna do a podcast. It was more he noticed me because I was putting out the product. Yeah. And it was just something that was, and then he said, hey, why don't we get together? And I said, yeah, would you want to do a podcast? Then that's when I asked, and then we organized it. Or even the mayor candidates were, it was offered to me. One of my friends was a marketing agent for one of the candidates, and I told her I didn't want to do it because I don't want to be political or anything, but because if I'm gonna do this political thing, I have to leave it out for everyone, right at that point. I think the pandemic really did help too, because everybody's at home. There's not a lot of media going around for political stuff like that, interviews. And I'll segue into doing political stuff after, just so if people did podcast, then just things to keep aware of. But the thing is, like, for products and stuff like that, a lot of these people that are doing podcasts, maybe some guy will do podcasts for 2-3 years, whatever. Yeah, people might look at mine and they go, hey, you're a pioneer or whatever. And I tell people, don't look at that. Don't look at the time history. Don't look at any of that. Just do it. Yeah. Just put out something. And for me, I'm really supportive of people that are just creating stuff, doing something different, right? Because we need that. We need that kind of diversity here in Hawaii. We need. That's why Hawaii is special, because of the diversity that we can translate to the rest of the world. But some people don't see that. So they're stuck in their own silos, right? Which is why I know a bunch of podcasters, but none of them really know each other. Wow. Because there's that mentality, right? People in the same field, they don't want to. Yeah, birds of a flock don't want to flock together, right?
But we are this is a unique industry that it can actually expand us.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah, it can. And what it takes is, you just have to go out and you just have to reach out to people, or even and I always leave it open for even podcasters too. If they want to message me or whatever, I'm always open to talking, even helping them to figure out ideas, concepts for their podcast, right? And I don't charge
special,
and I don't charge people, because I believe that if they're growing a scene here, then I think everybody will benefit, because then
Yeah.
You look at internationally, right? They're gonna say, "Hey, there's something going on, Hawaii. There's a group of people. There's podcasters there. We just didn't tap into it yet." And then they're gonna find out all these different people, and then everybody else benefits from that, right? But some people don't see it that way. Yeah, which is fine, But I think that that it will help out that. Now I'll segue into the political stuff because I do see podcasters getting into politics and stuff like that. My opinion for that is try to stay as unbiased as possible, right? Even for me, when I was interviewing some politicians, I had a bias, but I didn't show that, right? And it's because people are so, I don't want to say sensitive. They're not sensitive.
They're stuck in their ways.
They're stuck in their ways, and they have opinions, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, I think for politics, it's sensitive, but we just have to respect everybody, and I think that's where people lose sight of it. They just have to learn to respect everyone.
Yeah.
Especially for and my podcast was founded on foundations of everybody's at the same level, right? You go into an interview, everybody's at the same level. There's no like, oh, I'm a state senator, or I'm a podcaster that's been a podcaster for 2 years. Everybody's at
seniority kind.
Yeah, I'm Gaven. Yep. This is John.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean.
Right.
And I think that's where people lose sight of, especially now. You know what I mean? Because there's maybe some kind of hierarchy thing. I don't know. I see it. It's strange.
I think that's kind of I think that's something that's from the old school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to remember uncles just talking. To me, it's got to be rubbish. Oh, I grabbed this guy and he flew to the other side of the earth. Yeah. And it's all, but there's no cameras, right? There's no proof. There's no Google, right? Mm-hmm. So we went through a generation that our generation's Google facting these motherfuckers because they didn't have Google. And then it's is that true? I'm going to ask Uncle Google real quick. And then and it's see, you know what I mean? But we're that generation now. It came in, you know what I mean? Just in and we're nothing compared to people that are younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're younger than me, right?
Yeah.
What class are you?
2010.
2005 years.
Yeah. I just aged myself.
Sorry. No, right. I'm younger than him. My bad. No, but that's the shit. I just got lost.
It's the mentality, you know what I mean? With and it's the difference in era, right? The timing now, especially because technology is. I mean, we could do stuff like this. We could do podcasts now, which is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, back then it's we had to take for granted the news that was provided for us, the media that was provided for us. We had to take that in as this is the only thing, right? We didn't have stuff like this, but now that we do, now people are looking at different avenues, which is dangerous too, because they might be taking something that's fact when it's coming from somebody that's not qualified to tell it.
Yeah,
and
then that's why the amount. See, Joe Rogan, I feel he laid the foundation because when he started, he kind of interviewed people that he was comfortable with, from comedians to MMA fighters, and then he started getting into scientists or things, but it kind of coincided to where he did. Then he started taking it because he would get aggressive when he'd get in an argument. You know what I mean? He was kind of the his whole podcast was a zero bullshit. You're not coming. The media was set up this way. Mm-hmm. Either the media's agenda is to promote you, or the media's agenda to get fucking views because of the crazy interview.
Mm-hmm.
What does your wife think about you raping that girl fucking that you're getting accused of, or you know what I mean? And then now it's, oh my God, right? Clickbait, right? We're in the clickbait era. And now social media, it's oh, you know, Trump just got caught, you know, with dead bodies dumped in the back of the White House. Like, you know what I mean? Click, you know what I mean? It's like, or anything. It's like, that will get you, and it could be just a fucking ad for your podcast now. Like people know the power of it, you know, and it's just the, it's just the whole, you know, with that being said, like, you know, how you kind of stated like that, you know, especially now people have a hard time with this, but no, it's because there's just now avenues where that bullshit gets called out quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, people think the whole Black Lives Matter and they're getting shot and stuff, right? But the way I look at it is the amount of people that have phones with cameras on them now and the amount of opportunity that you could catch cops shooting innocent black people is way higher than it was fucking before we had these cell phones. Right? So the opportunity is at the highest, and I guarantee. And the cops have the body cams now. Right? We only saw that shit on the show Cops. They had the control. That's the media. They didn't look bad. Did you ever see a cop shoot a black person on the show Cops? They probably did. Probably fucking not on the show. But they controlled the media. Right? So now we're talking 1991 with fucking Rodney King with a fucking 8mm fucking camcorder captured finally. Like, you know, and that's a long time ago, bro. That's fucking 30 years, almost 30 years ago. Right? And right now, with the amount of footage that keeps getting captured every year, like the amount that would have been was probably fucking 100 times worse. And so, like with this, with the podcast, what Joe Rogan has stated, planted, like people have their Google set up. Like we don't have a conversation like that because to me, and like I said, Joe Rogan created that foundation. I don't know shit, and you don't know shit. Nobody knows shit. You know what I mean? Like we're just repeating what the fuck we heard. Like, I don't know shit. Exactly. I'll say shit. I'll talk shit. I'm very theory orientated. Like, if it makes sense to me, you know what I mean? But I'll hear anybody out. I'm about uniting. Like, regardless, we should be able to have these conversations. Like, when people, you know, would talk about religion, and then they get violent with each other. Like, oh, you voted for Trump? Like, people wanted to attack people in the street. Really? You're making martyrs. You're making that person even be more of a. You're like you just beat him up for voting for that president. Now you made him, and if he has kids, to hate all you guys. You see what I mean? You're planting seeds when you take those routes. But some people just are stuck in their ways. And you should understand when people do not want to change. Don't fucking talk to somebody that's in the military and the infantry about who the fuck should be president. Sorry, the guy was frontline, did fucking 4 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. You really think he's going to be a fucking open-minded person on... Bro, he's fucking... That's like last priority. People end up in jail before they end up taking that route. You know what I mean? Like, his job is not to fuck... You know, my friend's dad's a cop, and they Hawaiian. And he's like, bro, fuck him. He's like, fucking... He's like, bro, if I saw those Hawaiians coming up on a kid, he's like, fucking... They never like, listen, bro, I'd probably shoot them, right? And like, the son's like, bro, fucking... Bro, you Hawaiian? What the fuck, right? Brother, he's on cop. That's his fucking job. His life's on the line. That guy's life's going first before his. Because he's in a job where he might lose his. Right? That's fucking... You want to have an opinion with that person, or you won't even have the conversation with him. You're not gonna you're never gonna unify. Just know that that's the fucking boundary that he does not want to go, and you don't have to agree to disagree. You don't have to debate. You can find plenty other ways to, you know what I mean? Just get off that subject. That's how he looks at it. That's how he's stuck. But that's the older generation. He should be able to hear everybody out, because that's one of the big problems. So everyone keeps it all in, pen up. All these points, nobody fucking, all these guys, they don't know. Like, really? Like, you really think the president, you really feel that there's been a huge difference since Obama and Trump? Like, literally, in your life. Because I don't have enough hours in the day to do my own life. You think one guy is going to be able to be responsible for all 50 states, every problem, the guy is probably barely finding time to sleep because they're getting up. You got to come out and talk to these people. That's all they do. That's really their job. We need somebody to point the finger at. That's it. Or to talk to. Or that's what his job is. That's it. Obama was the best at the job. He can read the fucking teleprompter and it seemed real. Like, Trump can't even have, I don't even think, a successful podcast if he tried, because he talks like a businessman. He talks like the CEO, like corporates coming down, to your job. Everyone be good. Everyone smiles at the CEO guy from the mainland that's over here just to play golf at Colina or something. And he's just here for his Hawaii trip with his kids. Really what's going on, but he's just got to show face to the company, and then they're having a fucking at the convention center or whatever. Right? Everyone kisses his ass. That's what Trump was. He just come out, everything's doing good. Numbers are high as fucking, you guys are doing a great job. Looks like we're going to be fucking doing this stuff, right? And then everyone's like, yeah! And then when he leaves, like, oh my God, bruh, I think he likes me. And like, everyone's all like, fucking kiss ass. And then they're mad at their fucking boss that's close, right? Which is, be like a mayor, or a governor, or you know what I mean? Or senator, or like working your way up. But you really think that guy at the highest level has enough hours in the day? Like, it's like if you're pro Trump, oh, Trump did this for us, right? If you're against Trump did that to us. Like, where's the line go? You know what I mean? Like, we got stimulus check. You know how good I think Obama was at his job? We probably wouldn't have gotten a stimulus check. We probably wouldn't have got all this extra unemployment. That's how good Obama was at his job. You see what I mean when I say that? Like, we would have put up with the struggle for Obama. And even if he tried to done it, probably the media would be like, oh, Republicans in the House are not supporting his policy, so he can't even get the stimulus check out. Oh, fuck. Fucking the damn Republicans are always doing that, and fucking, you know what I mean? And then we're just bickering, but we just deal with it. That's how good Obama was at his job. You see what I mean? But Trump got the fucking stimulus check. I never saw one person thank him. Right? But I don't really think any one of them is responsible for any of that shit. You know what I mean? But the fact is, that happened. Nobody said nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't vote. I cannot complain. I don't want to. It's always the ones that fucking don't vote that complain. But I'm an immigrant. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna panic when really all I have to do work. I have to adapt. And the president and me, the connection is so far fucking fetched. Even me and the mayor is so far from being connected, or me being affected by that, that if we're just fucking like just panicking, causing havoc at a low place, like, bro, like, it's really not that big of an effect. You know what I mean? To us, to really be, I don't know, just hoping this whole thing shuts down, like, you know, it's just, I mean, that's just, you know, how I kind of think. I don't, because I could panic. I did panic when Trump was president and everybody was fucking acting like that. I kind of did have those feelings. I had angry feelings. I'm like, what the hell? I remember posting something like, damn, fucking, look, you guys voted for Trump. This is what you get. And then, like, my friend's like, bro, that was 2015. That was when Obama was president. But it's like, oh, fuck you. It doesn't matter, right? But, like, so I'm being ignorant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wait, what? Why the hell did I just do that? Like, why did I catch myself doing that? Like, I was for Obama. I was for the left because what it represented, I think, is kind of right. Now, fuck that. Like, I'm a centralist now, if that's the case. You know, I just want us to unite. We're all the same team. You know, and that's whatever way we can have these conversations and not hate each other. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This shit, it's fine. I understand everybody. I see their history. Like, you know, it makes sense why somebody would have, you know, there's the view stuck in their way. Their old dog can't learn new tricks because it's just fucking their whole life has been that way. You know what I mean? That's the reason. I can't expect anybody to think the way I do. Like, I don't really have a strong enough opinion to really. I don't know shit. I don't do shit.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the moon. I didn't go, like, you know what I mean? I didn't put these fucking. I don't know about vaccines. I don't know shit.
Yeah. Bottom line for people is you know, not everyone knows everything about everything, right? And, you know, I don't want to say stay in your own lane, but the thing is, learn from each other.
Yeah.
Right? And don't stay in your own lane. Learn from their lane as well. See it from their perspective. That's why, you know, Talk Story is a great phrase because.
And an even better podcast, Talk Story podcast.
But the phrase is great because, you know, all guards are down. Everybody comes from a neutral place, right? Then you start learning from each other, and that's how people can move forward, you know.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what people get from today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Man. It's been an awesome talk, bro.
Definitely, yeah, man.
And I won't keep your time out too much, but dude, any you know, like pages, website, anything
sure.
you're going, you can let the people know, or anything, any last message for anybody listening.
I would say, well, first off, if you guys want to see more of my podcast, you can just go on IG, and it's at Talk Story Podcast, all one word. All my links are in my bio, and you can see I still have some special episodes as well, you know, just kind of featured stuff. Just trying to clean it up a little bit, but yeah, it's there. I've been taking a break from podcasting, but I'm going to come back in next year sometime. I've just been really busy lately, so it's pandemic, but there's different things. There's jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, it's I think one last message is and I want to get back to people that want to do podcasting, right? And if you want to do a podcast, go ahead and just do it. Just start it. You can record on your phone. You know, I started off with very low budget equipment. I started doing things with, you know, I still have $10 mics that I use. You know what I mean? And they're high quality, and people say like, "Oh, it sounds so good." It's like, it's a $10 mic. You know what I mean? And I've been still using them. I mean, I did upgrade, of course, but the thing is, it doesn't take a lot to do a podcast. I think the heart of a podcast is the host and what kind of content they're trying to bring to people, right? The heart to it. And then I think that connects with people. It's not, you can get a bunch of equipment. Someone can get a bunch of equipment and not know how to use any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's efficient at all. But I think what's really productive and efficient is just not even the content, but just the conversation and knowing how to get into an industry like this, learning from others, learning the pitfalls, not trying to be like other people.
Yeah.
but just learning how to collaborate and learning how to develop a style, develop some kind of niche that interests the host, the podcast, right? Whether it's a sports podcast, which I love listening to sports podcasts, or even ones that just talk crap to each other, right? Some people love like crime podcasts. I've listened to some crime podcasts too, which are very interesting, and but it's things that interest them. It's things that they've gone on and they research, and I think that's where how a podcast becomes better, by the host, the content that's being created. The equipment does help, but work with things that works best. Yeah. Right. If you have a headphones and you have a phone and you want to do it like that, and if it works, why not? Right.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
And I was too much of a pussy to. I always needed an excuse. So I was like, I need the best equipment. And I'm looking up what people use, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't afford that. But, yeah.
What's crazy for mine is I set out to do everything mobile, right? Because I wanted to show that a podcast isn't restricted to a studio or some kind of space. You can do it outside. You can do it. One of them I did in Hawaii Kai. Terrible lighting because it was really sunny and everything. Terrible, but I still did it, and I showed people you don't even need $1,000 worth of equipment to do that. You just have to know the essentials. If you know what wires to use, equipment to bring along that works, you can translate it anywhere.
Yeah, the goal is just to get product out. Yeah. Keep it going. Consistency. Mm-hmm. We have a shorter term, attention span. Especially now we're in the iPad, fucking MP3 era. Mm-hmm. We're just like, what's the next song? What's the next song? What's the next song? So just keep doing it. I'm heeding what you're saying. Trying to do it myself. This is the first time we had video. I'm glad the batteries are still going.
We don't even know. Yeah, we don't even know.
This one looks good. I think. I hope so. But yeah.
And another thing is, for people out there, learn to listen, because I think people, they know how to hear people, but they don't know how to listen. Yeah. Right. And I think that's so important these days, to really listen to people and to really take in information and to apply it to their lives, right? And then to share that with the person that they're talking to, because that's how you grow as a person, I think.
And if you have a difference of opinion, don't argue about it. Don't have to fight about it. You know what I mean? Because you're only finding a way to divide between the person, and it really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows shit.
Yeah, nobody knows shit. Yeah, exactly.
It's just it. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, when I see someone arguing, like, two people arguing about politics or religion, whatever, it's like, you really think people are tuning into your battle? Mm-hmm. Like, you guys are in the same family. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Nobody really. It's just gonna divide you, and it's it's set up that way. But it has definitely been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Gavin. Thank you, brother. You're the first person I thought you would have been the first episode, but you're the first video episode.
It's all good.
I'm definitely happy about that. And man, to be able to
I'll have you on. I'll have you on.
Talk man. Story podcast. Please check him out. Brother Gaven Sugai has definitely been in awesome talk with you. 2 hours. I'm so proud of it. So cousins, please just take heed to what we said today. This is all inspirational for not only you, ourselves as well. Mm-hmm. To expand and do more and take it to the next level. We can all unify. We can all work together. And but with that being said, with Watz Da Scoopz podcast.
Watz Da Scoopz podcast.
Yeah, if you guys want to be a part of it, any questions, anything, any stories, you can check it out at Watz Da Scoopz. Yeah, Watz Da Scoopz at gmail.com. DASCOOPZ at gmail.com. What's the scoops.com? Oh, it's not out yet.
It will be in the making.
It will be soon, cousins. It's been a pleasure. I'm Junior John. This is Gaven Sugai. And again, it's the Watz
Da Scoopz podcast.
Yeah, man. Bless ya.